last year. They're all right. They'll be good.
I'm not worried about Bland. Who are we worried about? What team are we worried about? Ourselves. Hey. Just wait to see. We gave up 4 plays. So just wait to see what defense has to do.
What do you think about this? Going to 20-minute segments. You know what I mean? It's 30-minute segments. Sometimes you can talk a little too much. What do you think about 20 minutes?
I'd be okay with 20 minutes.
I would too.
Just 30 minutes towards the end, you're like,
you're answering the same questions. Exactly. Yeah, nobody else has anything else. Live. Welcome to WZAA 106.9 Campus Nation.com. This is our 3rd sports show of the year here at Fiesta Varacruz. Hosting tonight will be myself, Chris Weiskup, Chad McAllister, and Joe Davis. First on the show, we have Coach Killen, head coach of Wilmington High School. Joining him will be Willie Morris and Ryan Kim. It's good to have you guys tonight.
Thanks for having us, Chris.
Coach, so last week you guys are up 5-3. Played a great first half. Things went south in the second quarter. But the thing is, there was good things you could build on 5-3 in the beginning. What's those things that you got to shut down, coming into the second half here?
Well, going back and looking at the game, defensively, I thought we played pretty well. Anytime that you can completely take a team out of what they want to do, and I think we were rolling defensively. Offensively, we moved the ball from 20 to 20 when you look at it. And then you get down to we get the ball first and goal from the 1. And just for the record, you go back and watch film, Connor Mitchell lands in the end zone. He lands in the end zone. It's a touchdown. But we should have got in the next play. We didn't. Give them credit. They buckled down. And then get into the game, and you just kind of get in the flow of the game, and you really don't get that. With some we're working on, I'll tell you that. But it's part of the game flow.
Okay, that's fair enough. I was just
for the record, Connor was tired.
Yeah. It did seem like the second half, you guys, the first half you moved the ball, like you said. You moved 20 and 20, you had the goal line stop, then miss or snap there at the 25. Second half, you really didn't establish an offense a whole lot, and it seemed like you were on the field a lot.
It seemed like every time we did something good, something bad happened. And you can't have that, especially a team like Butler that – they're kind of new coach, and he's trying to fire them up and get everything going the right direction. And then all of a sudden, what we did was, especially in that goal line stand, we gave them hope.
Yeah.
And then it questioned us. So that's one thing we gotta kind of build upon.
Now, Willie Morris, hand that over, Willie. Willie, you skipped last year. I watched you play a bunch of basketball. Great athlete. What's one thing that made you come back out and play with Coach Killen your senior year? What's the thing that brought you back to Wilmington High School to play the great game of football?
Well, first, it's the way he coaches. He makes everything fun, and with all being fun, we don't realize it, but we're also working hard at the same time, and really just come out and hang out with my friends and my last go around, so might as well just go for it.
And do you like your position? Are you satisfied, playing running back, playing corner, doing the things you have to do, your responsibility? Do you enjoy what you have, or do you think you have more to offer?
I'm satisfied with wherever coach puts me. I mean, I want to do my job either way. And it's wherever he wants to put me, I'll just be there and do my job for the team.
Great answer.
Ryan.
I need more
Willing
Willies.
to you, Ryan Camp. Watched you play for a while. What do you think about coming in this year? Your responsibility, your job. Are you excited about what your part and your recognition you had? I know the team 1 and 2, but the thing is, you play great teams. You got to look behind that.
They don't do the job they were supposed to do, or is it just learning the position? You know.
Well, it's like this, you know, and this is something that people don't understand, and like playing on Friday nights, you know, you have to be pretty mature to be able to do that, to have success.
Right.
And so when you look at the players that we have, I'm not going to talk about the players we don't have,
Right.
Because that's their choice.
Yeah.
And everybody that's on that roster, I love dearly, and I'm going to support them in anything they do, but. You know, it just comes down to new experiences. Okay, they can do stuff right in practice, but what's going to happen when they get underneath the lights is the moment bigger than they are.
Right.
You know, and so we try to do our very best to kind of coach them up, but, you know, it's, you know, you're dealing with 15, 16, 17-year-old kids that who knows what happened during school because they're going through the whole girlfriend thing or what's going on in the home life and all that, you know. So it's one of those things that, you know, you just try to prepare them as best they can and coach on the fly, and hopefully they're adaptable
What you
and
said,
coachable.
I'm sorry,
you know,
to cut you off there.
No, you're fine.
But you said, okay, were we going for the first game? Now, you said that this week my defense was playing pretty good. Okay, so now compared to the first game when the defense really had its down spot sides to this week up there playing them, and all of a sudden to make the statement, my defense was playing pretty good, kept us in the game. So are you seeing the maturation of these players now that they're playing more and as the season goes on?
In 3 weeks, yes.
Yes.
But it comes down to complacency. Sometimes, especially with young kids, that they think they're doing right and they think they're on cruise control, but then all of a sudden the way I like to say it is they flinched or they took a breath.
Right.
You know, and then for that one moment, they kind of thought they were okay, then relaxed, and boom, got gashed. So the goal is to be consistent. Every single play is a new play. You know, forget it. Doesn't matter. Get better. Doesn't matter how well you did on the last play. Was it poor, or if you played it poorly? Doesn't matter. There's a new play at hand. We got to go. We got to go get it. That next play is the most important play.
Willie, I just want to ask you a question. First week, you have a couple fumbles. Guy take it away from you. Thing is, you can always, you know, bounce back. What's the things? The crowd out here. A lot of these are Wilmington people here. I mean, you're packing houses. You know, this is something that happens in Clinton County. This is a lot of Wilmington crew. How does that make you feel that people are sitting here? There's a lot of Wilmington crew here that supports you no matter what. Stick behind you. You know, you play tough teams. It doesn't matter. What's that feel like to have people stand behind you?
Well, I mean, it feels good. I mean, I guess, but, you know, people are people, and you trust them about as far as you can throw them, and it's all good. You know, some people, you know, I mean, I'd like to sit here and think that I got a lot of support. I think people here tonight are just hungry.
John just took his.
John just took Joe's food.
Joe's food. He says, "Give him my food bag."
So no, it's good, and like these people here, you know, I know the people that are here right now, and you know, for the most part, people do support me. They do have my back. You know, they do that. I feel like they do understand that I do have more than just the wins and losses in football, you know, in mind when I'm dealing with these kids.
So what we got to look forward to this weekend, Coach? What's the expectations out of Bland, or what are we going to see from them?
Well, you know, here Blanchester is 0-3, but I think that record is deceiving because they are pretty talented. Their quarterback, he's probably one of the better quarterbacks we're going to see all year. The way he spins it and throws it. What is he, 6'4"? Yeah. You know, and so I mean, we're gonna have to be on our game. They're a team. Offensively, they're going to try to out-formation us. They don't do a lot of plays, which we'll get into tomorrow a little bit, but they have a lot of formations, and they try to shift, to just look for the mismatch, and the kids exploit the mismatch very well. Defensively, they run a four-man front. Basically, it's kind of like a bend but don't break. So their defensive line's pretty physical, so our offensive line's going to have our hands full. Our game plan is pretty solid. So all it's going to come down to execution. Who executes the game plan better? And I told the kids today it's a Clinton County rival. The next 2 weeks, we're going against teams in Clinton County, and our goal is to win Clinton County.
Well, I want to thank Wilmington High School for coming on tonight. I like Willie Morris here, Coach Killen, and Ryan Camp coming on, Chad McAllister, Joe Davis. It's been played Hillsboro. Give me a little rundown what happened there. A little loss there, but give us a little rundown here.
Well, it rained a lot. We didn't play well. And that sums it up. That's pretty well. That sums it up. It was bad from the time we got there when it was raining until the time we left.
Now, how big was the Hillsboro line? I know last week you talked about Hillsboro line was pretty big and they was pretty strong there.
They have some big kids. I mean, they're a pretty physical team. They're a good team. They don't really throw much. Of course, it was hard to throw. I mean, we only completed one ball, and it was just hard getting a snap because we're pretty much shotgun team. And we did play without 4 of our starting linemen, offensive linemen. So we basically had a JV group in there, and it was tough. Conditions were tough, and they've got a huge fullback that really runs hard. They got another back that's pretty big. It's probably 220, and the other back's about 245. And it was tough. We didn't do too well.
Patrick, Coach Yankee's been talking a lot. How hard you work and being in the weight room, being in the strength lab. You're over 1,000 pounds. You're fast. You're strong. What does it mean in the off season to work hard and be that leader on the team and not just show by example, but show by your attitude the things that you have? What does that mean to you here at East Clinton?
I just enjoy being part of the program, and I just hope that kids can look up to me and get in the weight room and see that it actually does make a difference to actually get in the weight room.
Now, Birgit, I coached as a young kid, and kind of speak up to the mic here if you could. But the thing is, being younger, I believe, getting older, I watched you as a younger kid getting older, being a leader and being a vocal leader. What's it mean to you to be able to show these younger guys to really have dedication and do the things you have to do?
It shows what leaders we have on the team, and to show the young guys the right things to do, like not goofing off in practice, not talking during film, because we struggled on that the last couple of years. We had a bad group of seniors, but they're gone. So now it's our time to step up and actually show the young guys how to act around the practice field and film.
What do you feel like you could have done this year, in the past few games that you could have done a little differently to make things different?
We struggle on communication still. That's our big problem. We don't communicate a lot. We should communicate more, and that'd probably help a lot in the more. We're not very aggressive in tackling at all. We need to be more aggressive in tackling.
Well, like Coldwater that just beat Clinton-Massie. I mean, they're smaller than us.
Right.
And they'll have 80-some kids out. It's just, in those communities, that's their way of life.
Right.
I mean, it's like you're expected to do it.
You can't compare them to you.
Right.
Really.
It's tough. And, I mean, I think where we're at, just putting it honestly, it's easier for kids to go home after school and sit and play their video game, put their headphones on, shut their door, and no one bothers them. That's easy. It's hard to show up at 2:45 for a meeting when you get out of school at 2:30, watch film, learn, listen, being told you're doing this wrong, we can do this better, go lift, go practice, not get out and get done till 6, and then you go home. That's difficult.
Yeah.
But, you know, I tell our guys that just because you do those things, you're already better than people that don't. Like, you're going to become a better person in life because you meet those challenges, and it's hard, especially like with us. You know, you lose, and, you know, people tell you that, and you got to hear the negative things, but it's making them better men. Like, they're going to be better men because of what they do.
You can tell them to go out for the bowling team in the wintertime,
Yeah.
too.
But, yeah, there's a lot of, you know, we would like to have more kids out, and there are kids in our hallway that could help. But like I said, apparently what we do is too tough.
Right.
And it's not easy. I'll say that.
No.
It's not. And football's not for everyone. There's a
But
lot of kids that football's just
And
not
if they
for
don't
them.
want to be there, you're
Right,
better off
right.
having the ones that want to be there.
Yeah.
take
So,
their practice.
but the kids that are really there, in the long run, they will be better because
Yeah,
of
you're
it.
right.
How are you on like a health standpoint at this point? You're talking about your offensive line missing some guys. Are you guys relatively healthy going into the future weeks?
Yeah, we had one starting lineman that's been suspended that we expect that'll be back this week. We had 3 of them that were injured. Our starting center actually got hurt in a jamboree game, hasn't played yet. He should be back. He'll be playing this week. We had a kid that hurt an ankle against Cedarville, and he'll be back this week. That missed last week against Hillsboro. And then we've still got another one that's playing guard for us, also plays linebacker, that he had a concussion, and he won't be back this week, but we expect next week when we play Wilmington, he'll be back. So, you know, as long as we're healthy, we're okay. But, you know, when you go into a game against a Hillsboro team that's already pretty big up front and 4 of your guys are out, 4 of 5 are not playing, that's tough.
So what have we worked on this week to prepare for this upcoming?
Doing now works for us and how we're handling it.
And going into this, who is your crazed dog? Who's that middle linebacker that is a Neil Earhart? That is a Chris Weisskopf. That is a Lester Robinson. Who is that kid right now that can fill in, you know, and do the job and do the things that needs to be done to take control on that defensive side of the football? I mean, I know you're on the offensive side of football, but who is that guy?
I'll answer you honestly, and in 4 years we haven't had that guy. And we still currently don't have that guy. We don't have, like, at the linebacker position specifically, we have struggled for 4 years. We have, and we don't have that.
In you know, high school football and things, guys that are leaders, even on the offensive side of the football. I've watched you coach Brennan Jenkins last year. I thought he did a great job. I watched Gunnar Nienaber take over, you know, this year. Gunnar's done a good job. Who's some of the guys? How hard has your guys, Gunnar Nienaber, how hard has he worked in this off season with you? I believe you guys went to Colorado or somewhere.
Well, I'll tell you, we've had a
things.
lot of kids that worked hard. You know, Patrick was one of them that had like an A attendance. We charted our off-season guys who had like the number of attendance from December all the way through July, how many workouts they could make. Now, some guys, like Tristan, plays baseball. So for that 2.5 months, those baseball guys, we don't get them. So that don't count against them. You know, Patrick ran track, and so we get our track guys pretty much all spring, other than days that they have meets. So we charted everyone, and we actually started showing an attendance record. You know, you're an A, you're a B, you're a C, you're a D, you know, based on what they did. Patrick was an A. We had Vest that was an A. Cameron Yankee was an A. We had some guys that were Bs, some Cs. We had way too many guys that were Fs. And I learned that from Jaron Stokes, who's the head coach at Minster High School, and they typically play for Division VII state. Let Patrick answer first. I mean, am I still
Patrick,
tough?
what is he like at a daily practice? I want to hear it.
He's hard on us, but I've heard he's been a lot harder in years past, and I honestly feel like since he does, I don't know how to word it. I feel like he may have softened up a little bit.
But I want to tell you something. And when I had an opportunity to play for him, and it made me the man I am today, made me the player I was, player of the year in the state of Ohio. Unbelievable coach. And the thing is, as you grow, you mature. That's one thing when I coached with Coach Yankee. He taught me how to grow and mature as a young coach, a young athlete, and he means so much to you. So that's what's kind of cool looking back and watching you guys get to play football for him. But what he means, he really means. So what do you think? And you're a relative. So what do you think?
He's done a good job so far. He's definitely changed as a coach since I had him in Pee Wee. He was a lot harder and more considered on how we acted in Pee Wee. But he's softened up just a tad bit, I should say. But he still pushes us hard in the weight room, and they get on us. Every coach gets on us. They'll yell at you, get on your face, because they just want the best outcome out of us. They want us to succeed, and that's what they're there for, to make us better.
So what's it feel, Coach, going through it? Next week, before we wrap this up, what do you think this week you guys got to go and practice to do to come in this week and really be successful?
Well, a positive attitude is a must, and we've seen that. I mean, today was really good, and it's hard to do. Like when we're 0-3, and it's hard to have that. But just being positive, staying focused, getting better each day, and I think we're doing that. And just understand what we're trying to do each week. Not to that way we eliminate mental mistakes. We can't afford those things. When you're struggling a little bit, you can't afford mistakes because I didn't pay attention, or I'm not sure of my assignment. So, but the kids still have a really good attitude, and I think they're pretty upbeat today, and we liked what we've seen. And if we can carry that throughout the rest of the week, we get to play at home this week against Greenfield, and that's where we picked up our first win last year. That's what we hope to do this year as well. Now, in saying that, we looked at Greenfield, and I told them, started watching that film today, I think this is a better Greenfield team than we've seen in past years. They're not a bad team.
I'd like to ask both players, first of all, I'm going to hand you the mic, or pick up your mic. First with you, say your name to the people. Tell them the biggest thing that's happened to you so far this year, and then what you hope and expect to happen, you personally, in the game this coming week against Greenfield.
Because, like I said, we don't have that guy. If we tackle well, we force them to pass, then we should be successful. So we got to do those things, though.
Right. I wish you well.
So,
thank you, Joe. Appreciate it.
Thank you for joining in. WZA 106.9 here with Joe Davis, Chad McAllister, and Coach Jeremy Yankee. We will be back on here in about 5 minutes. We will be taking a 5-minute break. Next up will be Wilmington College. Thank you very much.
Hey, Jeremy, if he doesn't commit to he will bowl, bench him. Maybe even get this one out bowling. You need to talk to your guys about bowling. the hot seat. Yeah. Here.
Give us a little rundown over how'd you meet Coach Moore? Give us a rundown here in Clinton County. Way you know that brought you here to Wilmington College.
Yeah, so I got into coaching around 2013 as a graduate assistant at Defiance College in Northwest Ohio. Coach Moore's first year at Bluffton University up there in Bluffton, Ohio was in 2014, and that was going into my second year. You know, we came off a really good defensive year in 2013, and, you know, we were feeling confident going into a rivalry game, and, you know, Coach Moore's offense kind of put it on us that year. So that was my first real experience, you know, with Coach Moore and kind of what he does and, you know, from the offensive side of things. From there, I went to a Division III school in North Carolina to work with our defensive coordinator, Corey Filipovich. Down there, I worked with Coach Philly for 2 years. Ran the same defense, very similar defense to what we run here. Got familiar with Coach Matt Byrne, our offense coordinator there as well. You know, so there was some familiarity with the program, you know, with the people here, and you know, getting an opportunity to be back closer to my hometown and my family, my wife's family up in Columbus, Ohio, and really be a part of something I think is going to be special. That's kind of the journey I took to get here. But really, at the end of the day, it was about believing in what Coach was selling. You know, when I came in for my interview, I was all on board with, you know, the message that he pitched to me, and, you know, I'm just happy to be here now.
Coach Moore, just to get on a different subject that we haven't ever touched on before, what are some of the community projects your team's been involved with so far?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's been a big thing that we've been really trying since we've gotten the door here, is to really give back to Clinton County and the great football in this community. I know Kyle and Dusty sitting next to me here have been really involved with it. We've started at about 3 or 4 of the elementary schools in town here and out in East Clinton as well. Getting into the schools, we started some reading programs there. We've worked with some kids with behavioral issues, of spending time with them. We started at one of the elementary schools kind of a No Child Eats Alone type of program. We just go into cafeteria and sit around with kids and stuff like that. So we got into we work with Josh Sams at the Clinton County Leadership Club, Association, whatever it is out there. We've done some stuff to help out with them as well. So that part's been a big one. We're trying to grow it. We're trying to get more involved, just looking for opportunities to get our kids out there and try to give back to this great community.
Now I want to know, you guys are junior and seniors. Coach Moore's taken over the past 2 years. What's it been like, Coach Moore taking over the program, changing the atmosphere, changing it? Do you like it, or did you like before? And what?
Cool. So it's not a huge thing, but just the whole mentality of it. Obviously, you're reading totally different sides of the ball. So I think the quarterback side of it kind of helps me when it comes to playing pass coverage, knowing what a quarterback thinks like. So that helps big time.
Coach Brown, how about you got that call to come up here? How's that decision been for you? To come to Wilmington from North Carolina, was that did you jump on it as soon as you heard from these guys?
Well, it was actually there was actually a year in transition where I spent a year up at Oberlin College near Cleveland, so it was a little bit easier of a transition. For me, it was more personal than anything else. Wanting to get back up into this part of the country where honestly is probably some of the best football in America. Getting an opportunity to recruit the best of the best, compete against the best of the best, and work with the best of the best. That was really my draw to get back here. So in addition to some personal matters of getting married and, trying to start a family and all things like that, when Coach Moore and Coach Philly called me about the opportunity, I already knew that this was going to be something special. And again, getting a chance to compete in the OAC, build something special, and again, be a mentor to young men like Dusty and Kyle. Really, I'm just grateful at the end of the day, but, who wouldn't want to coach Ohio?
Coach Moore, going back to you and the difference, and we've probably talked about this a little bit last time, the difference between taking over a program, and I know we was talking about Coach Philly called you one day and says, hey, are you going to get, you're going to apply for that job?
Right.
And you're like, are you going to apply for that job? And he says, no, you belong with it. And that relationship with Philly, just explain to us all that, how it's all about winning. And the thing is, whoever's in charge, and no matter what, you still got each other's back, and you're still going to fight.
Yeah, I think that's how I've always wanted to build a program, and I think, and I'm sure our players can testify to that too. That's how it filters down. The coaches have to be on board. The assistant coaches, it's almost like the mafia runs thing. It starts from the ground up with your soldiers and your associates, all the way up to the Kappa Bastones and all that kind of stuff, to the underbosses. But it has to filter down where everybody has to see success at the bottom level for you to see success at the top level. And so when I had this vision of taking over this program, before I could jump into it, because it is such a major hurdle to overcome in this conference, I had to have people that I trusted. And when I knew Coach Philly was going to join me, and I knew there were some other younger coaches like Coach Thomas and Coach Burney that wanted to jump on board, I knew I had something, because they would preach the message that I believed in, because they believed in it too, because there was. And what's that?
Was that G's?
It was. I didn't know it. I took a job thinking I was going to make $1,800.
Yeah.
Got my first paycheck. And shoot, I thought I could afford a Rolls Royce or something at that point.
Yeah.
So, but Coach Paul gave me that opportunity. I worked with him for 4 or 5 years at Thomas More before he went to Ohio Northern. Coached against him many a times. He's one of the most honest and genuine, organized people that taught me about how to be a professional in this business. I don't think there's anybody I have more respect for in the coaching profession than Dean Paul and what he's done at 15 years at Ohio Northern. And prior to that, the great job of our undefeated season at Thomas More as well.
And that's amazing. And, you look at the coach and look at where you're at. A coach sat there and talks about that. What is your major here in college? And I don't mean to bring up each and every week, but a lot of people want to always hear that. I mean, your mom sitting at home, everybody. What's your major in school? What's your plans after school? when you get done with school?
My major right now is ag business here at school, and then a lot of people are going to say I'm pretty well set. I'm going back home, working on the family farm. We do dairy, and then we also do grain, and then we sell seed for Beck's hybrids on the side as well. So I definitely got it planned out, and hopefully got a future in it as well to keep going, even though the ag industry is pretty scary right now.
But what chose football out of everything? What chose football? Is it the love? Is the passion? Is it just the camaraderie that you built with your friends? Because a farmer's a farmer. Usually guys like, I'm farming. You have to have that passion, that love, and build that with amongst each other. You had to have that. Is that what it was? Or is it just, I'm tired of farming, I'll wait for 4 years?
No, I mean, it's the love and the passion for the game. I love how football teaches you about life. It teaches you about how to overcome adversity, how to build relationships with others that you basically have no common background with. Like coming to college, there's maybe a couple ag guys on the football team, and there's other guys spread out throughout the whole entire school that had different majors. I mean, it taught us how to come together for one common goal, just to win football games and to have the same passion, the same love for that game.
What can we expect to see from Ohio Northern this week, Coach?
Sorry, it's hard to hear in here. Go ahead.
I said, what can we expect to see from Ohio Northern this week?
Ohio Northern is, they haven't changed in 15 years. They're going to be very, very well coached. They're going to be big up front on both sides of the ball, and they're going to be a physical football team. And that you can count on, that you can take to the bank. Their special teams are going to be outstanding. And teams that have success against Ohio Northern can't make mistakes, because Ohio Northern will not make mistakes. They're going to be physical from the first play to the last game, especially on the O-line and D-line. And if you don't have depth, if you don't have guys that can physically throw their face in there for 4 quarters, they're going to wear you down. They got a great receiver. Making sure those kids know that we appreciate them coming to see us. We're going to go out and watch them play live.
Coach Brown, how big is that for you to be involved with the any type of recruiting or going and checking out any of these young kids? Are you involved in that in any way?
Yeah, I got to get out and see Pickerington North, Old and Tangy Orange last week, which was pretty cool for me because a family friend is actually the head athletic trainer out there. So it was awesome to get out there and see, how what she tells me about these kids all the time is how hard they work and, the efforts that they put in. And then you talk to them via text message and email and phone calls, and then you get out there and see them and see the work they're putting in. And then you let them know that you appreciate them, and then it's really cool to kind of see how excited they get. So really for me, like my recruiting, when I was getting recruited, the process was very, very almost removed. It was a lot of phone calls, text messaging was kind of just like getting to be the new thing. But now recruiting is so personal with how much interaction you're allowed to have with these young men, how much interaction you need to have to stay competitive. But really, at the end of the day, you got to let them know that you care and let them know that, they're going to be taken care of for 4 years, and also reassure mom and dad that they're going to be taken care of and raised into good, proper young men as they get out of here, on top of winning ball games.
So, at the end of the night, here we have Wilmington College here this week. Well, they got Ohio Northern. It's been real. It's been fun, but not real fun. Kickoff time is at
1:30.
1:30. Please come out and watch the Wilmington Quaker at a 1-0. We will be joined next week here at around 7:30 again.
That sounds good to me. I'll be here.
So I appreciate you guys having on. And we'll see.
Thanks for all you guys do to help support our program, man. We appreciate
you.
you.
Thank you.
Yes. Or no, you're more a program like them. Are we ready? Okay, turn your microphone on over here. Select.
If the green light is on, it's on.
Go to green. I'm trying to go to green. There we go. The one on the left. You're green. You're fine. Green, you're fine. And we got to welcome you to 106.9 LPFM WZAA Miami Trace Washington Courthouse. Jeffersonville, excuse me. We are Jeffersonville. Right now we have Clinton-Massie in to talk to us. I'm Joe Davis. I have with me Corey Stoltz, the quarterback for Clinton-Massie, and Tyler Beam, the fullback and middle linebacker. To start off, fellas, you're going to do most of the talking. Tell me how your season's going so far, from your perspective.
I think we have a lot of things that we need to work on, but I think we're playing some good football. I think we're playing a lot of tough teams, and I think we're.
How was Coldwater? As your first game out of the season?
That was a 2.5-hour bus ride, and with a 2-hour lightning delay that ended at 12:40 at night. So
we've had a couple of those this year already.
It was a rough one.
It ended 31-28. We battled as hard as we could. We had some things we made a lot of mistakes that I think if we clean those up, the ball game might go the other way. But
right. Yeah.
We just got to push through it. And like Coach said, it's very much like the Steubenville game that we played our freshman year when we went up to Steubenville, 4-hour bus ride. And hopefully we just improve from there.
Right. And when you're thinking, which technically the players shouldn't be thinking toward the end of the season, but when you with Massie, everybody does. Playing Coldwater, losing to Coldwater, you win out. That's not going to affect you technically because Coldwater is probably going to be in the playoffs, and I mean they are almost every year.
Yep.
They're a very good team, so it's not like going up and getting upset by a team that's going to end up 1 win and 7 losses or 8 losses this year.
We learned from it. We learned from it. So.
Yeah. And there was no shame in losing to Coldwater.
It's a very
they're a
good
very good football program, just like Massey's a very good football program. Tyler, all right, from your perspective, you play offense and defense.
Yes, sir.
What have you seen this year from your team in retrospect, comparable to the last couple of years, and how you're doing this year? What do you think? How do you think the offense is doing when you're going to trade with? Yeah, my Wilmington's going to be new, baby. But yeah.
They're a good football team from what I understand, and we're just looking to get the job done.
They played a good game, their first game, in beating Chillicothe, which is a good football team.
Right.
Then they turned around and played Wilmington, and Wilmington didn't play good against them. They turned the ball over a few times and still, got on the victory side of them, which I think shows if you guys play your style of ball, don't make any mistakes. The quarterback doesn't goof up or anything. Tyler. You know who he is.
Yeah.
If you guys handle the ball properly, take care of business, there should be a W on the end of this.
At this point, it's just a game of getting better every
Miami
week.
Trace is not going to fall down and lay down and just say, come over and beat us. And again, which Miami Trace team is going to show up to play you? The one that played the first game or the one that played Wilmington or another team?
From what I remember last year, they had a pretty good running back, I think. And
they do.
And they had a couple big guys on, I think, the O-line, D-line, but hopefully.
Their O-line is pretty good. They had one major running back.
Yeah.
In fact, they had 2 because he went out for a while and the other guy took over and he was doing pretty good. Both of them took off. The quarterback, if I remember right, was
good.
taking the handoff and keeping the ball and running a lot. You got to watch for that too.
Yeah.
If you shut down, it's almost like a one-trick pony in a way. I mean, it's the running game.
Mm-hmm.
You shut down their running game. They passed, and they had a few passes. But Wilmington was able to basically take them out of their passing game.
Yeah.
And then they got one game, and really 2 or 3 times, Wilmington shut down the running. The man wanted to go up the middle, shut him down.
Mm-hmm.
But then all of a sudden, they'll run the same play, and boom, he busted through. So they will keep running that same play sometimes over and like Massey does. Just
Yeah, I've
we're
heard that
coming
one
right
before.
there. Stop us, and
Yeah.
we didn't. So.
Yeah. Yep.
But I look forward to be I'm looking forward to being
Yeah,
out there.
it'll be a good game.
Oh yeah.
And that's the one thing about doing what I'm doing. When we do the Wilmington home games most of the time, I don't get to go out and see Massie enough.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I'm glad we can come out
It'll
to
be
do
nice
this
to
game
finally
this
have
week.
a home game.
I was a Massieite at one time. I coached middle school basketball at Clinton.
Really?
Okay, awesome.
I've got my schools. We just mentioned it. Yep, we just talked about how we are doing Clinton-Massie this week at the Clinton-Massie High School at Frank Ireland Field. And they don't have another nickname for it. Like Wilmington has, they have this theme. Then we call it the Eye of the Hurricane. But you don't have that. You don't have that really cool nickname for your score.
No, it's just Frank Island Field.
So, and it'll be a packed stadium because unfortunately you guys have not been able to
have a home.
build.
As an overall unit, it's getting better, but individually, it's
Just keep honing in the offense, keep honing in the defense, and
Yep.
I think it's very similar to the way we started out last year. I mean, minus the loss, but
Yeah.
like
Right.
just
I agree.
finding our stride, and then
Yep.
if things play out like they did last year, hopefully we hit that stride and it just doesn't stop.
Yeah, because if I remember right last year, and I don't remember exactly, but first couple games,
Yeah, they were a little-
you guys
they
were,
were-
it was a little shaky at times.
a little
and stuff.
ugly.
And and that's the way of playing. You won ugly.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, like you said, you
kinda took
got
off.
it into gear, and boom,
Yep.
took off, and just don't
Yep.
get in our road, so to speak.
Exactly.
2 minutes. All right, guys. Well, so what are you looking forward to this week against Trace? From watching films, talking about.
Looking forward to putting on a show for the home field.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what. It's just it's going to be nice to finally play in front of our home fans and have a home game that just,
we were
it's-
talking on the way here. Like three weeks on the road, it doesn't.
You don't
like,
realize
sound
how
like
much-
but it feels like forever. Like
Yeah.
we haven't played at home in forever.
So it'll be nice just to have
Get that home,
yeah.
home feeling, being able to
Yep.
stay at home and then go to the game,
Exactly.
go there instead of having to get on a bus for a big long bus ride.
Exactly.
And
That's
that, I
celebrate
tell you
with the
what, that
community.
means a lot.
Yeah.
I've been in sports all my life, and that can take a toll on you
It does.
sometimes.
Yeah, and you don't realize it until you've been through it. And it's
Right.
just like, you get to
And
that home.
sometimes you look forward to it. I mean, I like to away games, but at the same time, it's still a toll on your body, it's a toll on your mind, and you get
Yep.
there, and no matter how much you think you're prepared, if you sit on a bus for a long time, getting those legs re-loosened